Okay, so there are a few things I want to talk about your submission. That is for Sunday, and then just some technical animation blocking things that I haven't mentioned before. So first of all, let's start with your submission. On Sunday, you guys have to submit your blocking, which needs to be in a very specific format. Not actually format alone, but just the way you guys need to submit it is particular. I need you guys to upload a H.264 MP4 capture of the blocking of your character's body, which is in constant mode, with audio and a frame counter. Okay, and the big thing, please don't give me a Blender file. Okay, it needs to be a capture. This is animation. It's not rigging. You know, it needs to be a video file. If you guys do hand in Blender files, I will not mark them. Okay, so this needs to be done by Sunday night. I'm going to show you now. And be reminded that this counts for 20% of your modules mark. Okay, that's a lot. So take an average of 60 and take away 20 and everyone fails. So please don't forget, don't be late. Late submissions, as you guys are aware by the little piece of thing over here, says anything after midnight can only be 50% and anything after Tuesday doesn't get marked. So be aware of that. Okay, so please, 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 please take that seriously and please put as much time and effort into it as you can before then. Okay, so that is the first thing. Okay, how I need you guys to upload it and, well, export it is pretty straightforward. Okay, so once you have your blocking, okay, we're going to do a viewport capture of your animation. So the first thing that you need to do is, first of all, make sure that your viewport is as neat and tidy as possible. So that means turn off all your screen overlays so that that isn't in the way, okay? So turn those off. Make sure that the picture that you're showing me is at least clear and legible, okay? I don't mind it being in matcap. In fact, I prefer it to being one of these. I just find it simpler and easier to look at and less distracting. Okay, so I think matcap is the best option for this. You know, just keep it neat and tidy and clear. Okay, so once your viewport is looking the way it should, there are a few specific settings that you need to be aware of. First one, the resolution needs to be 1080p, so 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels. Frame rate of 25 frames per second. Be sure to set your start and end frames to the right place. Then you need to save your file with your student number, your first name and your last name, and blocking. Okay, so it's going to be student number, Joe Dirt, blocking. Okay, file format is not a ping sequence. We're exporting an FFmpeg video, step 1. Step 2 is make sure that it is an MP4 container, not a matroska, which it would come as default. Okay, make sure that it is H.264, which it should be, but make sure, and then check that your audio is actually on. Okay, by default that will be set to no audio for some reason. So make sure that is on. I like to use AAC. Okay, once you've done that, we also need to, as you should remember from this, add a frame counter. Okay, so that we can say on frame 20 there needs to be better spacing or whatever. So this metadata tab helps us to do that. And there are 3 things that I want you guys to add on. Well, the fourth is to actually enable it. Okay, so that burn into image will mean that it actually exports your capture with this information as part of the image. I want you guys to add the date, the frame number, that's the big one, and then your file name. So just a slight detour. The file name thing is very useful, okay? One day you'll work on a production or a freelance job or whatever it is, and your client will say, that render is the one that I want. We need to go back to this one, or here the lighting was better, or in this one the animation was better. And by that time, you're going to have 700 different files that are all named and scattered in different places, and going back to that file is going to be possible because you have no idea where that render came from. So even in final renders, I tend to put the file name as part of the render. Okay, so that's going to save exactly where this file came from in your actual image. So you can very easily say, in this animation export, or this animation came from that particular blend file, so you can easily go back and find it again. Okay, so it's very useful just to have that. Anyway, make sure you click burn into image, and once you've done that, to actually do it, you say view and viewport render animation. And that will think about it, and it will show you what it's doing, and it will capture out all your animation, and then save it as an MP4 file wherever you told it to. Then you should see that that file is also nice and small, so it shouldn't take very long to upload. It also doesn't take very long for me to download it when I'm marking it, and you should be good to go. Okay, so that will then have given me this. Please open your files and watch them and make sure that they are correct. So for instance,
yeah, but
do they have sound?
I'm not so good around
the file name, the date,
yeah,
the frame number
but
in them? Does it look
I'm not
right?
so good around
did you remember to turn off the
yeah,
and all the other
but
overlays? All of that.
I'm
Please
not
just
so
watch it and
good
make sure
around
that is
blood.
actually what you intended
Yeah,
to say.
but
Okay. You'd be surprised how many times you guys either present something or hand something in that we all know it's a rush to get things done at the end because we tend to work until the last moment. So just make sure that it is correct. Okay, so that's all that I have to say about your assignments. The next thing I want to talk about quickly is this dang Rigify rig. Okay, so for those of you who are using the rig that I provided, if you append that, so let's just go append and append that rig. Okay, okay, so if you append it, one thing, okay, so first of all, it's going to append more than just the collection. Well, I'm lying. It appends the collection with the rig in it. But then when it does that, it also regenerates all of the geometries used by the rig to create the widgets for the bone displays. Okay, so all of these things are not actually, they weren't part of the collection. So if you guys do set up your characters to append to other files, Blender sometimes then regenerates all the objects that it needed to actually build the rig. Okay, so that's what these are. So all that you can do is turn off the collection that has your actual rig in, select all of these, and then press M to move it to a new collection, and then just regroup those within a widgets collection, which you can then turn off again. Okay, so that will just clean up your scene file a little bit. Okay, the other thing about this is you will notice that you do not anymore have those very nifty FK, IK buttons and layer buttons and all of that, which are very useful. Okay, the reason for that is that that gets generated by the Rigify add-on within the Blender file that you create the rig in, generate the rig in. So it's not part of the rig itself. It's literally gets set up within Blender. Okay. Now how it does that is exactly the same way how we get it back. Okay. There is a script file that it runs that we need to load into this version of Blender or this Blender file, and then just run it again so that it can regenerate them within our animation blend file. Okay, so if you have this issue, this is something that happens a lot with Rigify, moving rigs from one scene to another scene and all of that. It's very rare that you actually only animate in the scene where you rigged your character. So knowing about this and knowing how to do this is quite important. So the file that it is, or the script file that it is, you guys can append from the same scene file or blend file that you appended the rig from. So if you go back and append and go back up and into the text folder, you will see there is the script file. Okay, this is in every single Blender file where a Rigify rig has been generated. Okay, so if you need it, go back to any Blender file where you've actually created a character rig, and you just append it from there. Okay, once you've appended it, open up a new text editor and open it over there. You'll see it, and you'll see this has got the very long script in which goes and actually builds the panels for the rig. Okay, now how it works is right at the top, it sets the variable rig ID to a certain string. That string is specific to your current armature, okay? And you can see that string by selecting the armature, going into the armature tab, and under custom properties, it's over there, okay? So if you want to regenerate these layers, all you need to do is make sure that your character or your rig's rig ID is specified over there within the script file, and then you just say run script. That way, when you go into pose mode and select your item, there they all are. Okay, so that's how you regenerate them, which is very important. Okay, so get the script file from any, I tend to just save this on my hard drive somewhere, so if it ever happens, then I know, just go and link it back there, and then just change the rig ID, and then just generate it again. Okay, not a train smash, pretty easy to fix. Okay, please remember that with your blocking, you guys need to be in constant mode. A lot of you, well, not a lot of you, but a few of you actually have been animating in linear or in Bezier, which is focusing on the wrong thing. Okay, we need to be focusing on our poses and what our poses are saying and how poses are moving and translating to the next one, rather than the actual movement of those that the computer is making. Cool, that's it for my video for now.